Hi everyone, this is Courtney from Ruby Red Farm. Today I'm going to take you through the 8 reasons to start raising your own food. So the first reason to start raising your own food is because of food prices. Food prices at the grocery store just last year alone in 2023 raised 2.6% in 1 year. The crazy thing is the year before that in 2022 it raised 10%. That is a huge impact on a household's budget. So the more of your food you can get built into your budget from home that you can control, the better. The second reason is for availability. The harsh reality is that supply chain problems can happen at any given moment without warning. These can happen due to war, natural disasters, diesel prices, and trade deals, all of which are completely out of our control. Speaking of control, that's the third reason why you should raise your own food. When you raise your own food, you get to control every aspect of the process. If it's produce, you get to control what kind of seeds you buy, whether that's organic or non-GMO. If it's a meat product, you get to choose where you source those animals from. You can even raise them totally from birth to finish if you want. The bottom line is at the grocery store, we have very little, if any, control over how those things are raised. A lot of times, labels are misleading. So to cut out all confusion, you just want to raise it yourself instead. On a more fun note, another reason to raise your own food is that you're going to be a lot more physically active. A recent study from the CDC found that 25.3% of Americans surveyed in the last year are what we call physically inactive. That means that a month before that survey, they were not physically active a single time. We've got to do better as a country. We've got to do better just as human beings. Gardening is one of those wonderful ways to get outside. Caretaking for animals also gets you outside more, gets you more steps, and gets you some activity. In my experience, though, it starts a wonderful cascade trend. When you start raising your own food, you become more motivated to take control of your life, and that includes taking care of your activity level. Speaking of taking care of your body, the fifth reason to start raising your own food is because you're going to start eating better. A survey found that community gardeners eat 37.5% more fruits and vegetables. Now, obviously, there's some connections there besides just the gardening. However, I've experienced the same effect in our family. Once we started raising our own food, we were much more open to eat a better variety. And if it's there and you're trying not to let it go to waste, you're a lot more willing to eat that vegetable you may not care for quite so much. The sixth reason to start raising your own food is that it's better for the environment. I know that there's some stigma against environmentalists as a general rule, but I don't see why we can't all coexist on this front. When it comes to food, so much money and so much energy is wasted both in fuel for transporting those products, but then also in the cost of refrigerating those products. If we have our own food sources in the backyard, we're not going to be polluting the environment as much, and we're not going to be wasting as much energy on things that we shouldn't be spending it on in the first place. The sixth reason is that it's going to end up giving you an immense pride in your work, which actually has been proven to improve mental health. Community gardeners report better stress management. They rate higher in resiliency. They have lower rates of depression among their peers. And they report overall higher life satisfaction. I certainly can see why. We have enjoyed raising our own food. I've got one reason to go, guys. Before I get there, make sure you try to subscribe for us too. We've so enjoyed sharing our journey with you guys. The number 8 reason, and in my opinion, one of the number 1 reasons to start raising your own food, is that it tastes so much better. Food you raise in your own backyard is obviously going to be significantly fresher. Because of all that control over it that you had at the beginning, you get to choose what types of plants you raise. You get to choose what type of meat you have. Small batch, locally raised meats are much healthier for you. The flavor is incomparable to conventionally raised meats. When it comes to produce, the produce is allowed to actually pollinate the way it's supposed to, which improves the taste and the flavor. And they're not using fertilizers to stimulate growth that shouldn't be there, followed by chemicals to kill the plant early so they can harvest it when they want to. You get to control all of that when you start raising your own food. That's all I have for you. This was Courtney from Ruby Red Farm. Make me a promise, do one new thing this year. Comment below the new thing you're gonna try. I hope you all have a great day. Could you, maybe not, bump into my tripod where I go? This chicken has been following me since reason number 2.